Tonight, I want to tell you a story you think you already know. But this part of the story is almost never told. It's the part before the courage, before the victory, before the stone left David's hand. Because before David faced Goliath, David was afraid. And the Bible never tries to hide that. David wasn't born brave. He wasn't fearless. He wasn't confident. He was young. He was overlooked. And he was very, very human. When David arrived at the battlefield, he didn't come as a warrior. He came as a messenger. His father sent him to bring food to his brothers. Nothing more. Bread, cheese. A simple task. David had no armor, no rank, no authority. And when he reached the camp, he heard something that stopped him. A voice. Loud, mocking, confident. Goliath. Every morning and every evening, that voice echoed across the valley. Challenging, taunting, laughing. And the Bible says something very important here. When the Israelites heard Goliath, they were terrified. Not weak men, not cowards, soldiers, even King Saul, tall, experienced, chosen as king, was afraid. David stood there, listening, and for the first time in his life, he realized something. Faith does not remove fear. Faith meets fear. David didn't feel bold. He felt shock. He asked questions. Who is this man? Why is no one answering him? Why is no one fighting? And the answers he received were not encouraging. They told him how strong Goliath was, how long he had been fighting, how many battles he had won. They told him what everyone already believed. This giant cannot be beaten. And then something else happened. David's own brother saw him, and instead of encouragement, he gave him anger. Why are you here? What are you really after? Go back to the sheep. Imagine that moment. You walk into fear, you ask questions, and the people closest to you tell you to leave. That moment breaks many people. But David didn't argue. He didn't defend himself. The Bible says something subtle. David turned away, not just from his brother, but from the fear being spoken into him, because fear spreads through words, and David refused to drink from that cup. Eventually, David stood before King Saul, and Saul looked at him, young, inexperienced, small, and Saul said what everyone was thinking. You cannot fight him. This wasn't an insult, it was logic. And David didn't deny the danger. He didn't say, I'm not afraid. Instead, David told a story. He spoke about the lion, the bear, the nights alone, moments no one saw, moments when fear had already visited him, moments when courage was born quietly. David wasn't claiming strength. He was remembering faithfulness, not his own, but God's. Still, Saul tried to protect him. He placed armor on David, heavy, unfamiliar, restricting. David tried to walk. He couldn't. And here is a moment most people miss. David could have worn the armor anyway, but he didn't, because borrowed confidence always fails. David removed the armor. He chose what was familiar, a staff, a sling, 5 smooth stones, nothing impressive, nothing loud, just what he knew. As David walked toward the valley, Goliath saw him, and Goliath laughed. Mockery is loud when it senses fear. Goliath cursed David, threatened him, promised destruction, and David stood there, not fearless, but steady. And then David spoke, not to Goliath's size, not to his weapons. David spoke to identity. You come to me with sword and spear, but I come to you in the name of the Lord. That sentence didn't come from confidence. It came from trust. David did not say, I will win. He said, God is greater. And then something powerful happened. David ran, not away, toward the giant. That run wasn't the absence of fear. It was the decision not to obey it. And the stone flew, and history changed. But here is the truth. The miracle didn't begin with the stone. It began with a young man who admitted fear, and walked anyway. Because courage is not loud. It is not dramatic. It is often quiet. It sounds like obedience when you want to hide, like faith when you feel small, like trust when the outcome is unknown. David didn't defeat Goliath because he believed in himself. He defeated Goliath because he believed God was present, even while he was afraid. And that matters. Because many people believe fear disqualifies them. It doesn't. Fear does not mean you lack faith. It means you are human. Faith is what you do while fear is speaking. Maybe you are facing something right now, a decision, a confrontation, a season you didn't choose, and the voice is loud, telling you that you are not ready, that you are too small, that others are stronger. But remember this: David didn't wait for fear to leave. He moved forward with it, and God met him there. Not after the fear, not instead of the fear, but in the middle of it. And maybe tonight, that is the message meant for you. Not that you must be fearless, but that you must be faithful. Because giants fall, not when fear disappears, but when faith speaks louder. And sometimes, the bravest thing you can do is take one step forward with shaking hands and a steady heart. That is the story the Bible never rushes. And that is the story still being written today.